California, we had high hopes. The election system there is flawed. And what we're finding out is that registered voters didn't even vote. That's our top story today. Good to have you here with us. I'm Vanessa Broussard. There is some good news coming out of California. Trump endorsed Republican candidate Steve Hilton has now officially been confirmed as the second candidate to advance to November's general election to face off against Democrat Xavier Becerra. One of the two will replace term limited Gavin Newsom. But California has a lot of issues, as you know. We're breaking it all down today with voter ID expert and former Speaker of the Michigan House of Representatives, Craig DeRouche. Craig, we've seen the numbers. They're not adding up from election night to now, and we'll get to that. But something new we're seeing, and you're here to talk about today, I don't think it's been reported yet, is that California voters stayed home. What can you tell us?
Yeah, that's the thing. People were very concerned about what happened with the people that voted, for sure. But what a lot of people are looking past is the incredibly low turnout of Christian voters. Probably at least 60, maybe as much as 70% of Christians didn't care that live in Los Angeles, that are Los Angelinos, didn't care enough about their city, didn't care enough about the fraud, what's going on with the drug addiction on the streets to even bother to take a few minutes to vote in person. You can vote in person, by the way. You don't have to use the mail. You can vote in person during the early voting there and show up at City Hall or the local precinct outlets where you are and vote in person. You're on videotape and cast your ballot. But Christians and social conservatives sat that out, and we believe that's probably half of what this is if we want to actually get free and fair elections to return to Los Angeles and to California.
Why do you think that is? They have a high crime rate, they have a high homeless population, high drug problem. We've seen the video, Craig, where lots of videos where homeless camps are outside neighborhoods, outside schools. You can't go on a jog or a walk with your kids without passing by tents and seeing needles on the ground from drug users. Why aren't people going out to vote to change this?
We're finding it's really on the biggest one is education. And that's why at Family Policy Alliance, what we do, we are founded as Focus on the Family Action. We mobilize through 40 state organizations. We have more than 450 local employees. It doesn't count politics. This is on educating people on how to vote in 40 states. And we find that if you didn't learn how to get an oil change or use an ATM machine when you're growing up, you probably avoid those things. Well, if you didn't learn how to vote when you were growing up, you've been avoiding that thing. And so when we educate people and then we remind Christians to vote, we get what we got in 2022 was a 91% turnout. We got a 92% turnout with over 1 million voters in the 2024 election in swing states by educating them on how to vote. Now, the other part of this is spiritual. We're in a spiritual battle in America, and Jesus kind of called his shot. And he described in the parable the talents, where he said, the master, God, is going to give you things, and that might be, he used money as an example. Talents were the denomination of the time, and he's going to ask you what you did with those talents. And if you bury them, he's going to call you a wicked slave because you didn't do anything with it. And that's what we're talking to Christians about. You own the city of Los Angeles. You own California. There are enough Christians in California to overwhelm the ballot box with pro-life, pro-family, pro-American constitutional freedom. but people are passing on that, just like the person in the parable of the talents that buried his and said, I'm not going to bother. So it's human apathy, it's lack of education, but it comes at a real cost, Vanessa, a real cost, as we're seeing this week.
Unbelievable. And the real cost that we're seeing also is in Los Angeles. Like you just mentioned, we're seeing two people who we did not want to advance, one including Karen Bass. Hard to fathom that people would still go out and vote for this woman after the destruction of this beautiful city. Los Angeles is known as the city of angels, but it's starting to turn into the city of demons because of who's running that place and how they've destroyed that once great city. And people apparently, as they say, are still voting for her, but there's weak voter ID laws. There's no voter ID laws in California. Illegals getting out to vote and registered voters staying at home. That's a big problem, Craig.
It is, and that's the other side of this. In California, has chosen to weaken their laws as recently as May, and to make it harder for honest and integrity to be there. And I just want to make one thing clear: we're only a couple weeks away from celebrating our America's 250th anniversary, and we're triggering that. Which what is our anniversary? It's around July 4th. It wasn't when we finally settled on our first constitution. It was on when the founding fathers signed a document, July 4th, 1776, that said we were going to rise up and we were going to self-govern, a new experiment in human history. That's what we fought the Revolutionary War for. It wasn't for roads or healthcare or things like that. It was for the right to vote. Okay, so this is a fundamental attack on Americans' most treasured and founding principle is the right to our own self-determination. That's what's being attacked in our 250th year. And people should not be passive about this. They should be, we're just one organization, but you can come to us today, Family Policy Alliance, and we will remind you to vote, not in just the governor race or the ones that are covered on the news, the presidential races, but if they're going to do a sidewalk bond where you live, if they're going to do a library fund, if they're going to elect a school board, we're going to remind you to vote in those. I'm complaining about this was a highly publicized election, and probably 70% of Christians didn't vote. If you go to a school board, it's probably like 92% of Christians don't vote. So we remind them to vote. There's plenty of us that are social conservatives out there that believe in the founding principles of our country. And we can win every election in California, New York, and every state if we just show up.
You're right. I look around the country at these local elections, like you said, the ones that don't make headlines, and the low voter turnout hurts my heart every single time when I look at the total number of people who went out and voted. You look at the mass number of people in these areas compared to the small number of people who voted, and it's just truly sad to see that people don't take even the smallest local elections seriously, because every election matters no matter what level of government you're on. Going back to California, Hakeem Jeffries, we caught up with him this week, Craig, in Washington, D.C., and he says there's no cheating in California. Take a look.
Leader Jeffries, looking at the state of California, the state has rampant SNAP fraud, hospice fraud, immigration fraud. Are we really supposed to believe there's no election fraud in California? And if so, if there's no election fraud, then why would California Democrats refuse a federal audit?
California is a great place to live. I appreciate the leadership of Governor Gavin Newsom, as well as, of course, the California delegation, which is a tremendous group of public servants. There is no election fraud in California. Donald Trump is making it up. He can't point to a shred of evidence to prove his point. This is all a conspiracy theory because Donald Trump knows in November he's going down in flames electorally, and Republicans are about to lose the House.
So, Craig, he says it's all a conspiracy theory, but I also have video that I want to air right now from James O'Keefe, who was on the ground in Los Angeles and sees what's going on and records what's going on at the homeless camps. And it rebukes what Jeffries just said. Watch.
Fraudulent petitioners on Skid Row are now paying the homeless to forge names, forge addresses, and forge signatures of registered voters.
So do you want to sign? Okay. The first name.
I'm Joseph Albright. Okay.
The first name.
Joseph Albright. What are you using? Teresa.
No, I'm gonna give you your address to write.
Oh, okay.
Follow directions.
Okay, yeah.
Robert.
Quickly becoming a widespread scheme that can be found on almost every street corner in downtown Los Angeles.
There you go. It's going on Skid Row in Los Angeles. But Hakeem Jeffries wants American people to believe, hey, all is well in California. There's no cheating. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are listen, every scam they run, this is the thing that people need to understand about Hakeem Jeffries and the Democratic Party, is what they do is consistent, right? And he thinks this is early still, because the first thing you do is you say it doesn't exist. This is what they said about the transgender surgery of minors. That's not going on. We find out that they've hurt 700,000 people. RFK discovered that when he got into Secretary of State, and then they mock people as the second, and then they violently oppose you on that. When we were fighting to end transgender surgeries, we were firebombed on Mother's Day, and then they'll act like, well, everybody should have seen this. Of course, there was this and the rest of it. So Hakeem Jeffries thinks that we're so early, that the public is so dumb, and so beaten down, that he can say that the fraud doesn't exist, when everyone in America is worried about this coming out to their county, to their township, to their city, of what they're seeing in Los Angeles. They're horrified by it. On its face, they're standing mathematics on its head, and their practices are an affront to American really excellence in what we were created for 250 years ago, while we're getting ready to celebrate the 4th of July. And I think that this is why, by the way, Vanessa, if there's any hope in this at all, it's why there's not going to be a blue wave this year. I think that people are going to show up differently because they're being emotionally invested in our great country. Our great country is worth fighting for. Our great country is worth participating in. And it's statements like Hakeem Jeffries just made that are going to get millions and millions of more people that believe in America to show up this year. And so thank him for that, I guess.
Right. The more comments they put out like that from the left, the better it is for us. I hope you're right. I hope people do get out and flood the ballots and the polling. Yes, but the fear is President Trump's not going to be on the ballot, so will people stay home? I hope that's not the case, but we shall see. It's going to be a battle to the end, as it always is. So we'll continue to watch California. We're not going anywhere when it comes to California, because we want answers. We know the feds have been on the ground there investigating the elections there because of allegations of voter fraud. You used to you still do a lot of great work in Michigan, and former House Speaker there in the state. Word is, and we haven't really talked about this much on LINDELLTV, the jury pools. Word is getting out that there are illegals being called in for jury duty. How is that even possible? I've been seeing it all over the news and web articles lately, and I wanted to ask you about that, since you specifically are from Michigan. This is going on in your state. What can you tell us about that?
This is wow. Let me start there. Wow, wow, wow. I just said there can't be a bigger affront to America than to disenfranchise a single American. And just really quick, in Detroit, that exact voter fraud that you saw on the street that was going on with the fake signatures, that is exactly what was going on before we had voter ID. Voter ID fixes that. And that gets rid of a big swath of voter fraud, is when people have to present their IDs. So back to Michigan with the jury pool. Well, listen, I've been somebody who's endured lawfare, and I'm actually case law with a county prosecutor that went after me after I left office. And I can tell you that maybe individually, for the people that have to face the justice system that is in many jurisdictions out of control, that it is scarier to have illegal immigrants, non-U.S. citizens deciding on the freedom of American citizens. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard, Vanessa. I want to thank you for, you guys uncovering that. And it comes from a system of fraud with Medicaid, Medicare, welfare, and voting fraud. These people with the driver's licenses find their way into the official system. So it makes sense. This is the risk. What's the harm in doing this? They're just stealing $9 billion of our money in Minnesota. That doesn't hurt anybody. Well, guess what? Now they're going to be sending American citizens to prison. That should scare everyone in America, what you just said. So I hope that our friends in Michigan are all over that.
So too, we'll continue to watch that, continue to watch California, all of the other states as well as we head into the midterms. We've got to get these elections secure. And I just don't know, Craig, if we will. You have the Save America Act. Our viewers sitting at home, they're probably sick of me talking about it every single day. The Save America Act is just sitting there in the Senate. Where's John Thune? We have to get this passed, and we have to make some movement on securing our elections. And that may be why a big number of people are staying home, is because they don't trust our election system. Any final thoughts?
John Thune should go to Los Angeles. He should go to New York. Where he's from, people know who everybody is by face. And if somebody comes in if I showed up in his precinct and tried to vote, they would question me. They would flag my thing and everything else. He's living in a different world than exists right now in America. This isn't beanbag. This is about the freedom of Americans. It's about the American Constitution. It's about what we did 250 years ago, not just celebrating it, but upholding that. And every senator needs to respect it. And if they honor the shoulders of the people that they're standing on, they need to reconsider this and change whatever rule they have to pass to make the Save America Act law this year.
You're absolutely right. Craig, good to have you on the show today. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for all of your work in fighting for election integrity. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
In South Korea this morning, protests continue to take over Seoul as thousands reject election results there. We have live pictures right now from a rally going on there, and actually a conference. And I believe that is Dr. Douglas Frank standing there talking to the crowd right now. If we can, let's take a listen in since we have live pictures from South Korea.
여기가 어디죠? 보이시나요?
Does that look familiar?
익숙하나요?
That's you!
여러분이 있는 곳입니다.
Oh, so we knew in 2021 that there was some serious election fraud going on in South Korea.
2021년도에 이미 한국에 대대적인 부정선거가 있다라는 것을 알고 있었습니다.
It's not a surprise. AWEB is based here.
그렇기 때문에 AWEB의 본부가 여기에 있다, 한국이라는 것이 놀랍지 않습니다.
It used to be paid, helped to be sponsored by USAID.
USAID라는 단체의 후원도 받았었는데요.
Trump took care of that.
트럼프가 USAID를 폐쇄시켰죠.
But you're still paying. You need to stop paying for this.
근데 여러분들은 아직도 대가를 치르고 있고 계속해서 AWEB를 계속 지원하고 있습니다. 중단되어야 됩니다.
Because they're not just stealing South Korean elections.
한국 선거에만 도둑질을 일삼는 게 아니라요.
They're teaching the whole world how to cheat elections.
전 세계의 나라들이 어떻게 부정선거를 치를 수 있는지 교육을 시키는 단체입니다.
They are the international election fraud cartel.
국제 부정선거 카르텔입니다.
You should not tolerate them anymore.
이제 더 이상 이들을 봐주면 안 됩니다.
Something happened here. Stop the steal. Stop the steal. Okay, here we go.
Live pictures there from Korea as people start to chant "Stop the Steal." As we've been reporting since last week, there's been accusations of voter fraud and proof that citizens in conservative areas weren't allowed to vote because they ran out of ballots. Voters are demanding a rerun of the elections after dozens of polling locations reported problems. And as you know, the head of South Korea's National Election Commission has resigned, accepting responsibility for the ballot shortage controversy. And today, former U.S. Ambassador to Korea, Ambassador Ton, he made his first court appearance. He has been held in South Korea, unable to leave. They won't let him come home. I'm told no decision was made in court today, so Ambassador Ton will remain in Korea until further notice. To Minnesota now, where Vice President J.D. Vance has referred criminal allegations into Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison to the DOJ's new fraud division. This follows a House Oversight Committee report on alleged fraud in Minnesota's social service program. Walz and Ellison claim they didn't know about the fraud. Whistleblowers claim they knew for years. Vance says the referral is based on allegations that they may have failed to stop the fraud, ignored warnings from whistleblowers, and obstructed oversight efforts. The House report alleges billions of taxpayer dollars were vulnerable to fraud through various state-administered programs. Ellison calls the referral a political stunt. Walz's office has argued that the state has taken anti-fraud measures and that the accusations are politically motivated. Vance says Minnesota state officials are not above the law, and if they are found that they facilitated fraud, lied under oath, or intimidated whistleblowers, they may face justice. All right, also new this morning, taking a look from Washington, D.C., the U.S. House narrowly passed the Secure America Act by a vote of 214 to 212. Not a single Democrat voted for the bill. The bill provides approximately $70 billion in funding for ICE and Border Patrol through the remainder of Trump's term, ending a months-long funding battle over immigration enforcement. The legislation previously passed the Senate and includes funding for additional immigration enforcement personnel, detention capacity, border security operations, and related DHS programs. Now it goes to the president's desk, where he will sign it into law today. But in the meantime, protests continue at Delaney Hall in New Jersey, and right in the middle of it is Democratic Representative LaMonica McIver. She was one of 3 Democratic members of Congress who went to the ICE detention facility last month for what she says was a congressional oversight visit. Now, looking at this video, that's McIver in the red, a physical confrontation occurred. Federal prosecutors later charged her with assaulting, impeding, and interfering with federal officers. McIver has denied any wrongdoing. Of course she did. And yesterday, she avoided our reporter, Allison Steinberg, when she was asked questions about that day. Watch.
Well, Congresswoman, you have repeatedly called to defund and abolish ICE. If Democrats were to get their wish on that, who would enforce existing immigration law? How would that work?
Honey, go play with somebody else, not me today, okay?
Well, the American people would like to know how that would work.
I advise you to go play with somebody else, not me, okay? Have a great day.
Well, from what we've seen out of Delaney Hall, the violent agitators are the real problem. Is biting a federal law enforcement officer appropriate, in your opinion? Is that acceptable, or is that a criminal offense? Do you stand with the violent agitators?
You love wasting our time on the Hill. You're wasting your time, my time, and everybody else's.
It's not a waste of time when millions of Americans are asking why Democrats are standing with violent criminals over American citizens. How do you justify that?
And keep the mic out my face.
Did you just bash my mic with your folder?
Move the mic out my face.
Wow. Thank you, Congresswoman. Have a great day.
McIver has appealed and is still fighting the charges in court. Now, in the meantime, border czar Tom Homan stopped by the White House after the congressional vote yesterday. He was in good spirits, of course, walking right by the media and stopping for a gaggle. Here's Tom Homan on ICE funding and sending more agents to New York.
New York, I know you said you were going to surge ICE agents there. Can you tell us when we can expect that to happen?
No.
What can we expect to happen?
You can expect more ICE agents to go to New York because Governor Hochul signed legislation that ended our 287G agreements, where one agent can arrest one bad guy turned over by a jail. Now we got to send a whole team to look for that guy. So she took the efficiencies of the jails away in the 287G agreement. So it's math. One agent can arrest one bad guy in the safety and security of the jail, which is safer for the alien, safer for the agent, and safer for the community. But she decided to kill all that, so now we got to send more agents to do the job that would have took one person.
But Secretary, for you, are you confident that Congress is going to pass that immigration funding this week?
Yes.
Secretary Mullen left the night of the White House Correspondents' Dinner on his private jet. Do you really think that's the best thing to do for a secretary? Alina Shirazi with the Daily Mail, we reported that Secretary Mullen left the night of the White House Correspondents' Dinner after the briefing on his private jet back to Oklahoma, which he does often. Obviously, the DHS oversees Secret Service. Do you really think that's in good taste?
I'm the board of czar. Let's stick with immigration.
How is your
why was this Somali referee denied entry to the United States for the World Cup? Omar Anton, he was a referee for the World Cup, and he was denied.
I'm not familiar with that case.
Sir, how are you preparing for the World Cup?
Local law enforcement enforcing federal immigration law, they can still honor detainers in jails. So aren't you just punishing New York for ending those?
Who honors detainers in New York? Give me a name. Give me a county that honors immigration detainers.
I'm saying that's separate from 287G. It's not the same thing. You're saying that they end 287G. That's cooperation.
287G program is a place where we get thousands of criminal aliens from. If you get arrested in a 287G jail tonight, you're going to be screened too. It's a colorless. Everybody, if I get arrested, I'll be screened to 287G. It helps us. It gives us a force multiplier to finding criminal aliens. Now you can. Governor Hochul can say she supports the removal of criminal aliens. She wants to work with ICE on criminal aliens. Since she's been governor, thousands of criminals hit the street. She says she supports criminal aliens, but she locks us out of the jail. She ended the 287G agreement. You can't square that. You can't square we believe that criminal aliens should be arrested and lock us out of the jails. It's ridiculous. She's lying to the people in New York State. She's lying to the people in New York State. We're going to surge resource in New York. We have to. We have to. We got Rikers Island in New York City. I had an agreement with Mayor Adams to get back into Rikers Island. Now, if you truly believe we have a right to arrest and deport criminals that are in the country legally, then why am I locked out of Rikers Island? Why do they keep releasing them to the street? You can't square that. That's ridiculous.
Mr. Homan, on the World Cup.
Homan reiterating the major victory for border security to carry out President Trump's deportation and enforcement agenda. As you see, he was fed up with the media, so just walked away. Now to renewed controversy between President Trump and Pope Leo. A new investigation is raising serious questions about the Vatican's direct engagement with openly Marxist and communist organizations. Michael Hitchborn, president of the Lepanto Institute, is with us today to talk more about this. Michael, good to have you on. You just released a deeply sourced report documenting the influence of radical groups and the Vatican. Tell us all about it.
Well, back in 2025, in October of 2025, Pope Leo was, he spoke to a group of communists called, they were part of a group gathering called the World Meeting of Popular Movements. This was started in 2014 by Pope Francis, and it's been going on for a while. But in this fifth meeting, it was the first time that Pope Francis wasn't involved and Pope Leo had taken over the reins. Now, the problem is that the organizations that put this thing together, the ones that were part of the organizing committee, they are committed communists. And we're not talking about your garden variety pot smoking college campus student. We're talking about people that wave hammer and sickle flags. They're marching through the streets, shouting epithets from the Communist Manifesto. They've got Karl Marx, on their social media feeds. They're celebrating him as if he was a saint. These are people who are committed Marxists. And we have several different organizations that we profiled just showing, look, these organizations are actual communists. Now, Donald Trump, when he was criticizing Pope Leo, he said, he's surrounded by Marxists. And what we found at the World Meeting of Popular Movements is, yes, absolutely, he was surrounded by Marxists. And the really disturbing element of this is that when Pope Leo addressed them, he called them social poets. He called them champions of humanity. This is not the language of a pope who should be guarding and safeguarding not only the faithful, but the citizens of the world from enemies of humanity, which is exactly what communists are. So, the report, we have tons of information. It's 144 pages, tons of information showing exactly why these organizations are communists, how we know they're communists. And we also included papal condemnations of communism, showing that this meeting never should have happened to begin with.
And for the people at home who want to read that report in its entirety, where can they find that?
If they go to our website, lepantoin.org, they can find the full report. It's right there front and center. You just click it and you can download the PDF, but all the information is there.
And so let's talk about this back and forth between the president and the Pope. They've been very vocal with each other since the Pope took over and the Catholic Church. A lot of that has to do with immigration as well. And going back to what your report is about with these Marxist groups, these communist groups, kind of the same thing with immigration. He wants to welcome everyone. And yes, we all want to believe that everyone is a child of God. They are, but not everyone has good intentions, as we know from these illegal criminal aliens that cross our border, and also these Marxist and communist groups as well. So where do we draw the line?
Well, I think we start by saying, when it comes to Pope Leo, he was only Pope for 5 months by the time the World Meeting of Popular Movements was held. So we start with the possibility that he really didn't know who these organizations were. He was given a schedule, said, you're going to be addressing these groups. It's entirely possible that he didn't know that they were actual communists and thought, if his staff was telling him, no, they're just community organizers trying to help the poor, blah, blah, blah. If that's the case, then, okay, we can give him a pass on this. But the information that we put together, and we did submit this report to the papal nuncio, who is the ambassador to the United States. We know that it was received by the nuncio. We gave a statement asking for him to personally deliver it to Pope Leo, which means there's no more plausible deniability. He has an obligation at this point, I think, to not only shut down the World Meeting of Popular Movements, never allow this meeting to happen at all, but he really needs to condemn the organizations that he was giving accolades to, because this was a public act. This is a scandal. It needs to be rectified. And the faithful need to understand, no, you cannot collaborate with these communist organizations by any stretch. Part of the problem with the World Meeting of Popular Movements, this particular one, was that for the first time, local Catholic representatives participated in the meeting with these communist groups with the intention of further facilitating collaboration on the ground with them later on. This is planting the seeds of communism within the minds of the faithful. It's very dangerous. And the scary thing is that because the Catholic Church has so much influence primarily in South America, you're likely going to see a further collaboration, not just with these communist groups, but now you'll spill over and start seeing Protestant organizations and Protestant churches being infiltrated and influenced by these communists because of this collaboration.
That's scary. And to look at a graphic that we have of Pope Leo to communists, socialists, Marxists, talking about, I am here, I am with you, a quote from him, to say, I am with you to a Marxist group, to a communist organization, is very scary for the faithful to know that their church leader is telling communist organizations this. And you're right, looking ahead to what comes next or what the future may hold, if this continues on, it's going to head into and walk right into other churches and denominations as well.
Absolutely. And the final the final declaration that was made by the World Meeting of Popular Movements made overtly Marxist calls. For instance, many of these organizations we found were actively pro-abortion. They were actively pro-homosexual, specifically transgender. In their final declaration, which they delivered to Pope Leo, they said, we also demand the universal right to health and medical care as an indispensable condition for a dignified life. You've got to understand, making that kind of call from a group of men and women who are pro-abortion, pro-transgender, that can only mean that they're also calling for universal access to abortion and universal access to transgender care, what they call transgender care. And in the final declaration, they also said a universal basic income as recognition of unpaid work and as a guarantee of subsistence. This is what they're calling for. They want universal basic income. So you don't have to work. And if you can't work, you'll just get a basic income, and that'll help pay for your house and your food and your car and whatever. You don't have to work. This is socialism in its rawest form. This is socialism. This document was handed to Pope Leo. He has an obligation to say something. He has an obligation to stand against this document. He has an obligation to stand against these organizations. That's why we're calling for the disbanding of the World Meeting of Popular Movements.
And how can people join in your fight?
Well, if they sign up for our newsletter, they can stay informed on the things that we're discovering. So go to our website. Again, it's lepantoin.org. Sign up for the newsletter. Also, if you're Catholic, take our report and hand it to your pastor. Show your pastor what it is that we've discovered and ask him to start pushing it up the chain. Go to his bishops. You can go to your bishop. You can set up a meeting with your bishop. Sit down with him. Say, how can it be possible that the Catholic Church is now collaborating with communists when the church has been condemning communism and forbidding the faithful from having anything to do with communists for the last 150 years? Please explain this to me.
Right. And so people can start at home. We have to protect the faithful, our church, and put an end to this, because we do not want any type of communism or Marxism inside the Catholic Church. Michael, good to have you on the show. Thanks for coming on and telling us about your report, what you found, and how people can find it on your website. I encourage everyone to go there and read the full report with their findings. Thanks so much for stopping by today.
Thanks so much. God bless you.
When we come back, school is out for the summer, but MAHA is still working. The plans for the 2026-2027 school year with Bobby Kennedy coming up next.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, My Pillow mattresses and My Pillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's gonna ship absolutely free.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including LINDELLTV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. show. Explore the featured page for quick access to LINDELLTV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
In our Maha Mom segment today, the story of a healthy 12-year-old little girl who entered a vaccine trial and claims that days later she couldn't walk. Vaccine injury advocate Brianne Dressen points to the case of Maddie DeGarry. According to Dressen, Maddie began suffering severe symptoms within days of her second shot.
What is one of the worst injuries you've seen besides your own?
The worst injury, so the very worst injury, in addition to institutional malfeasance that I have seen, has actually been with injured clinical trial participant Maddie DeGarry. She's an injured 12-year-old, totally healthy kid, cartwheels, soccer, like her whole life was ahead of her. She participated in the clinical trial in Ohio for Pfizer. And her reaction started after her second shot. She felt like it felt like someone was pulling her spine out or heart out through her neck. So that's a neuropathic, a neurology.
Heart out through her neck?
Yeah. So her nerves were being attacked within her spine. And then her legs stopped working and she was incontinent. She could no longer go to the bathroom. She had extreme weight loss, 7 seizures a day. Okay.
And she had no medical problems before that?
No medical problems whatsoever before that. So
how soon after the vaccine did those start?
Within days. Within days.
So sad. Dressen says Maddie's condition rapidly deteriorated. Her legs stopped working. She suffered extreme weight loss, and she experienced up to 7 seizures a day. Before entering the trial, as you heard, Dressen says Maddie was a healthy child who played sports, did cartwheels, and had no known medical issues. The story remains one of the most discussed cases among vaccine injury advocates and continues to fuel calls for transparency and accountability surrounding COVID-era vaccine trials. Well, school is out for the summer, but schools are also preparing for the fall and working through the summer months to make schools healthy again. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is in Iowa with this message.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary, and I'm here in Gilbert, Iowa today at the Gilbert Elementary School with Iowa's extraordinary Governor, Kim Reynolds, and with Dr. Stephanie Haradopoulos. And we came here for a couple of reasons. One is to be present when Governor Reynolds signed a litany of MAHA legislation. Her state has been leading the way thanks to your amazing leadership. She signed bills to make sure that kids are getting good school lunches without chemicals in them, to do cell phone regulation in the schools, to require the presidential fitness test, and to get kids outdoors and get them experiencing real life. We came to Gilbert because this is one of the schools that has already implemented the cell phone regulations. And the experience when we sat today for a roundtable, we heard from the principals and the superintendents, and the result of this regulation has been extraordinary. The test scores have gone up, disciplinary referrals have dramatically gone down, and there's much more social interactions happening at the school. They talk about the lunch cafeteria is now allowed again. The students are talking to each other, and they're going home and talking to their families and their parents. And I want to thank you for your leadership, Governor.
Thank you. Well, I'm Governor Kim Reynolds, and I am so thrilled to have the Secretary in Iowa today. I appreciate your inspiration from MAHA and really leading this movement across this country. And it really did inspire us here in the state of Iowa to pass our MAHA bill this year. And I signed it into law today. And really, we're addressing mental health, we're addressing physical activity, and we're reducing screen time. So we have really refocused our MAHA bill on changing the way that we do systems and benefits that are focused on nutrition, as well as getting kids more active and helping them reduce screen time. I'm a mom and I'm a grandmother of 11, and I could not support more what you are doing through MAHA. And we look forward to being an example for other states to follow. It's the right thing to do for our kids. And the new advisory that was released today really gives parents and teachers and educators a toolkit on how we can start to reduce the screen time.
The Office of the Surgeon General released an advisory today on the harms of excessive screen use for our children and adolescents. We wanted to give all the best evidence possible for the American people to be able to read it and understand it, but to also use a toolkit for different stakeholders, whether it be parents, educators, policymakers, even big tech, to read, so we can then make a difference for our future. We want our children and our grandchildren to grow up healthy and have all the tools that they need to be their best self. So with that, our phrase is eat real food, live real life, and get active.
Today, teenagers in this country spend an average of 8.5 hours a day on their cell phone. Toddlers at 6 years old are already spending 2.5 hours. They're not developing the social skills, they're not being in nature, they're not learning to read books, they're doing things that are not going to ultimately contribute to the development of the character and the resilience that they're going to need to survive, and to creating bonds with community and their family. And we got to get back to living real life again.
Governor Reynolds is celebrating legislation that improves school nutrition, increases physical activity, and astounding numbers there about how much screen time our kids are getting per day. And it's another reminder to set limits so they'll get more one-on-one interaction and play and physical activity. First Lady Melania Trump welcomes students to the White House, innovators, top AI talent. We will take you to the award ceremony when we come back.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% US-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
America's founders warned that without knowledge and virtue, no nation can remain free. Yet through the steady infiltration of Marxist ideology, we have been stripped of both, and we are no longer a moral and educated people. To save America, we must spark nothing less than a national renaissance. That's why you need Freedom Talk Magazine, the journal of truth and virtue. We cultivate enlightened thinking and principled living, offering unique insights into the issues and remarkable people defining our world. Sign up today for your free subscription to Freedom Talk Magazine and join the new American Renaissance.
Well, hello, everyone. Well, I'm turning 65, and let me tell you, Medicare has me confused. All the junk mail and the robocalls and everything else, it honestly feels like they rigged the system just to confuse us. Well, that's why I partnered and working with Chapter. They're independent, and they don't work for big insurance. They work for us. In fact, they're the only advisor that compares every single plan nationwide to find what actually fits your needs. If you're on the right plan, they tell you. If you're not, they're going to help you switch. And it's completely free. Just last year, seniors saved about $1,100 by finding a better plan with Chapter. So call Chapter at 234-LINDELL or go to askchapter.org/Lindell.
First Lady Melania Trump honoring the winners of the Presidential AI Challenge during a ceremony at the White House. The nationwide competition drew roughly 20,000 kindergarten to 12th grade students. Melania says the innovators are the best in America.
It is wonderful to see this very impressive group of innovators at the White House today. I am proud that you represent the best of America. You are our future. Thank you to Secretaries Wright and Rollins for being here today. Your support of this program is a key to its ongoing success. I also want to recognize everyone who took part in this first AI contest. Students, educators, parents, and administrators. Yes, you could applaud. Today is about opening doors. When the doors open, passions flow, courage blossoms, and dreams are realized. AI inspires. Use this chapter of your life to sail away with your dreams, to continue to build boldly, and importantly, to safeguard America's leading position in the world of technology. As you know, technology supports every business sector today. You saw AI's potential and created ideas that will shape America's future in many areas, including healthcare, nutrition, public safety, and beyond.
Mrs. Trump awarded America's 6 student national champion teams. Congratulations to them all. Let's see how the markets are opening today. A live look from MarketWatch.com, checking out the Dow, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ on the big board, all down at this hour. May Consumer Price Index inflation data is out. That's affecting opening bell. Ongoing developments in Iran and the Strait of Hormuz also affecting opening bell at this hour, but all of the markets right now on the big board trending downward. So we'll continue to see how it plays out for the rest of the day. In your news to go, Carmelo Anthony has been sentenced to 35 years in prison for the fatal stabbing of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf in Frisco, Texas, at a track meet last year. A jury found Anthony guilty of murder, rejecting his claim of self-defense. The deadly confrontation happened during a rain delay under a team tent. Anthony has to serve at least half his sentence in Texas before he's eligible for parole. Taking a look at the president's schedule for today at 8 o'clock this morning, he held an executive meeting. In just minutes, he signs the Secure America Act, and we will have coverage of that here on LINDELLTV. It's the Secure America Act, which will provide funding to ICE and Border Patrol. That is coming at the top of the hour. Then at 4 o'clock this afternoon, he greets the Presidential 1776 Award finalists. And then at 5 o'clock this evening, he will have a policy meeting. For all your top headlines today and every day, you can always log on to LINDELLTV.com. We have great writers there with op-eds and all of your top headlines on LINDELLTV.com. You can also download the LINDELLTV app. Never miss a broadcast with the LINDELLTV app. It is free in your app store. Now to our Bible verse of the day, coming from the book of John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we saw his glory, glory as of the only begotten from the Father, full of grace and truth. And that'll do it for us here this morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will see you same time, same place tomorrow. And we leave you today with sights from Indiana. Have a great day.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, My Pillow mattresses and My Pillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including LINDELLTV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to LINDELLTV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
When you read one news source, you get one side. When you read two sources, you get an argument. Read 40 sources, and you get the truth. LindellReport.com, the only place you ever need to visit for your news. From LindellTV, over 40 trusted outlets in one place. No editorial gatekeepers, no hidden bias. Just the day's news. Balanced, unfiltered, ready when you are. Whether you lean left, right, or straight down the middle, this is where you start your day. One click, one feed, one truth. The decision is yours. LindellReport.com. The news you need, the balance you deserve.
You know, most people think water's just about filtration, but in reality, it's about balance. What gets removed, what gets left behind, and how the water actually behaves once you drink it. Well, many traditional systems focus on one thing, removal. Reverse osmosis, for example, strips water down completely. It may sound ideal, but it removes minerals that our bodies need. The Century Wellness System was designed with a different philosophy. It removes common contaminants like chlorine, fluoride, and PFAS, while restoring key minerals like magnesium and improving alkalinity. It also does all this without tanks and without wastewater, and without requiring a complicated installation. It installs in about 15 minutes under your sink, so instead of overcorrecting, it brings your water back into balance. Please visit CenturyH2O.com and use promo code Lindell for 10% off your